Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on scoring artifacts in Aqua. I'm Kate Springsteen, Project Coordinator of Member and Education Services for Interstate Passport. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available at www.wichi.edu/passport/webinars by tomorrow, February 9th. If you have questions throughout the webinar, please type your question into the question box on the GoToWebinar panel, and it will be brought to the presenter's attention. Following this webinar, I will be sending out an email with information on where to find a recording of this webinar, as well as a link to a survey, which we'd very much appreciate if you'd fill out. I'm delighted to introduce you to the presenters of today's webinar, Janine Fusco and Jeff Reed. Janine is the Senior Product Owner at TaskStream, and Jeff is the Vice President of Product Management. Welcome, Janine and Jeff.
Thanks,
Hi,
Kate.
thanks, Kate.
Hi, everyone. All right, so we'll get started. This is Janine. I'm going to take you through just a couple of quick slides, and then we'll actually jump into a live demo as well. So today we're going to cover the uploading of student artifacts in Aqua, and then also the scoring experience where you'll be scoring those student artifacts as well. The Aqua scoring project. So you will be aware that in the fall we did the assignment scoring both for my institution and then a separate project in Aqua for assignment scoring for other institutions. And now in the spring we're going to do something similar where when you log into Aqua you'll see a project for the student artifact scoring for your own institution. And this is where you'll be uploading the student work as well. And then the second project is the scoring student artifacts for other institutions. So what we'll do is at a point where all of the uploads have been completed in the My Institution project, we will then copy over those assignments and artifacts into the other institution project, and that's where you'll be able to score all of the other institution submissions. Again, just for clarity with the language differences between Aqua and Wichi terminology. So the dashboard, when you log into the dashboard, we talk about the outcomes being measured. These, in Wichi terminology, it's the knowledge or skills areas being measured. Within the assignment creation form itself, where you would have selected learning outcomes in Wichi language, it's selecting the knowledge or the skill area. Where we refer in Aqua to criteria, these are the selected features within those knowledge or skill areas. Again, also the using the selected criteria, this is using the selected features. And then the scoring screen, if you'll remember from scoring the assignments before, Aqua calls this the scoring student work area, and which is better aligned to what we're doing now in the spring because you will be scoring the student work, so it's a little bit more aligned with the terminology. So just one quick note for accessing Aqua for those of you who haven't been into the system for a while. You'll go to, you can see the URL on the screen right now. It's aqua.taskstream.com. You will enter your email address and your password. It's the same email and address that you and password that you used before. If you have forgotten the password, you just need to click on that link, enter in your email address, and it will hit submit, and that will generate an email to you that will then let you reset a password and access Aqua again. So for the artifact upload, for those of you who have not uploaded the student work yet, two things to remember is when you go in, and I'll show you this through the demo as well, when you do go in to manage and upload the student artifacts, the roster that we've provided for you is just a generic roster. And then the other thing to remember is once you do upload the student work, you do have to hit submit to ensure that that student work goes through for scoring. With the scoring the artifacts themselves, you will be able to view the assignment prompt and the student artifact in the scoring experience. For those of you who were scoring the assignments before, you'll remember that in the scoring screen you were just viewing the actual assignment prompt. Now we'll have access to the assignment prompt, but more prominence is given to the student artifact itself. You also have the rubric bar along the bottom of the screen that you can expand to view the full rubric. And then again, you also have to remember to submit your final score for these to be counted. We will be providing a scoring guide, a PDF version, as well as the recording of this webinar. And then you also have support from our mentoring services team that you can contact either by email or by telephone. Okay, so I'm going to go now into demo. One quick thing to show you before I do log in. This is a copy of the guide that we've created for scoring the student work. I've created a project, you'll see now when I log in, specifically for this demo. But what you're seeing right now on the screen is what you'll see when you do log in, when scoring is ready. So you can see that you have the two previous projects over on the left-hand side for scoring the assignments. And what you'll see when you log in now is the student artifact scoring for both my institution and for other institutions. All right, now into the demo. So I am going to log in here to Aqua. And this is what I was saying before. I've created a project specifically for this demo. But you'll see here I have the outcomes that are being measured. When I click into the title of the project, I can go over here on the left-hand side into Manage Evidence. And this is where I'll see a copy of all of those assignments that had been created before. So I can go into the assignment itself and I can review the information. So I can click on here to view that selected criteria or features. I can also see the instructions that had been uploaded, the assignment prompt for students. Here it is as an attachment. Just to show you as well, I have another example of a different assignment that I had uploaded. In this case, I had specified only 3 of the selected criteria features. And then in this case, which some people had done, was adding the assignment prompts of the instructions for student as text and or as the attachment, just to be aware that both ways were used. So once I'm actually in the assignment, I can go into Manage Submissions. And another way that you can get into Manage Submissions is if you go back to that assignment list and you see your list of assignments over here on the right-hand side under Actions, you can go into Manage Submissions and it takes you straight into that screen as well. So this is the list of sort of anonymized students that we've given you in a roster. There's 15 students that we've provided for each assignment. If you do need more students added because you've collected more student work, then you can just reach out to Kate to let us know. All you need to do in this case is if you had your files open in a second window, you can just drag and drop your files onto each of the students. Or you can go over here to click on the Add Files, and then that will bring up the window where you can go and you can find those files as well. As the files get uploaded, you'll see this expands, and you can see the name of the file down here. Before you submit the student files, you can edit by clicking on this, and you can edit the file name. You can also download the file if you want to. You can also click into the file if you want to see how it renders within the scoring screen. So you get a preview of what it's going to look like in scoring to ensure that it was uploaded correctly. So once you've uploaded the student files and you've had a chance to review and make sure that all of the mapping is correct, you can either go in one by one and hit the Submit button, and this will ensure that file has been submitted for scoring. Or if you have a number of them that you uploaded, you can just go up to the top right and do Submit Multiple Students. And all the students that have files uploaded, you can select and submit those for scoring. And then you'll see the difference between those that have been submitted and those that have no files. Okay, so that is how we upload student work for the assignments. Now we'll go into the scoring experience. You can also, just one other thing to note, is you can also see when submissions have been successfully submitted because the number will change on the assignment detail screen. Okay, so now we're going to go into Score Student Work. And again, from the left-hand navigation, you go into Score Student Work. So one thing to note here is that you will have a queue of student submissions specific to your area, and in this case, it will be from your institution as well. In the case of scoring student artifacts from the other institutions in the other project, it'll also be anonymized as it is in here, but again, it will only be for your area, and you'll not be scoring any work from your own institution. So with the anonymized, you can see here we have a series of random numbers which indicate a submission or a student. You can expand on this to see the outcome and then also the name of the artifacts that have been uploaded. The other thing to note is you can see I have this one student artifact that's pinned to the top of this list with the button saying resume because this is one that I had started before. So if you start a submission, you start scoring a submission and you log out of the system and come back to it later, it's going to be automatically pinned to the top of your queue so that you can resume that scoring. Just to show you, you can see the different file names under for each of these artifacts. So I'm now going to go into the scoring itself. So in the previous scoring where you were looking at the assignments, the content that you were looking on in this main content area, it was the assignment prompt itself. This time you're going to be looking at the student work. Again, much the same as before, you can navigate between different pages. You can download the student artifact if you need to. We have the zoom in, zoom out, and we also have the full screen mode. You can see I have a little 2 icon over here on the left-hand side. This indicates that there are 2 pieces of student evidence uploaded for this assignment. So if I click into that area over on the left, this is where I can now navigate between those different student artifacts. And as I click on it, it should now display in the main content area. And then the assignment prompt itself, maybe my wireless has gone down. The assignment prompt itself is what you can click over on the left-hand side on the eye, and then that's going to actually focus your attention on that original assignment prompt. Give me 1 second. I think my wireless has gone down. Sorry. So along the bottom of the screen, this is where you can see the rubric itself. Something different. I'm going to expand here to actually view, and this was that one score that I had given it before. One thing that I'm not sure we had when we did the assignment scoring was the comments. And this was something that we had spoken about in Colorado, but we do have the ability now to add comments for the rubric. And save that. And as I go through, I can navigate between the different criteria or features over here on the left and right and add my score. And as I'm adding each of these scores, it's going to auto-save for me. So I can also minimize that. And then once I'm ready, I can go over here at the top to review and submit. So clicking the review and submit really gives me an overview of the full scoring experience. I can see the comment, if any comments were added up here at the top, and I can review my scores. This is the summary view, so if I wanted to see the full details, I can click on the detailed view, and then that's going to expand. If I were to try and submit and there were scores missing, it is going to prompt you and tell you which ones are missing so that you can ensure those are completed. So now if I submit, it's going to take me back to the queue. You can see it's counting the number of submissions, student artifacts I've completed, and it will just confirm that final one that was sent through. One other thing, I think the last thing to note is that if I do go in to start scoring and I discard, it's going to let me know that this will reset all of the scores and return the submission to the queue. So I can choose not to if I want to continue, or I can discard, and that gets thrown back into the queue. But please note that it may actually come back into your queue as well if there's not enough artifacts that are being distributed across all of the scorers. So if you do the discard and it comes back into your queue, just move on to the next item. And I think that you can also see as well that the number of evaluations that I've completed will show up on the dashboard as well. Just one other thing before I finish, because that is mostly what we needed to show, was back on that PDF, all of the steps that we've just gone through will be shown here as well for scoring, how to access the scoring queue, how to start a new evaluation, resume, score, and it will show you all of the controls on the scoring screen as well. So I'll just go through here real quick just to show you for viewing the artifact, the actions bar that you have along the top, being able to view and toggle between the different student files for that submission, being able to view the actual instructions as well for the assignment prompt, excuse me, and then also the instructions for navigating through the rubric itself. So that is all I have. Kate, I wasn't sure if you had any questions that you wanted to take.
Well, I don't have questions in the questions box right now, but if anyone has some, please take the time to write them in the questions box on the GoToWebinar panel. We'll wait a minute to see if any come up. If not, you can always reach me or Jeff or Janine, but it might be better to reach me first, and then I can pass on the questions to Jeff or Janine.
Perfect.
All right, well, I haven't received any questions. Thank you guys so much for putting on this webinar, and thanks for everyone. I just received one. Okay, so the question is it necessary to enter comments on the rubric?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's an option.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeff and Janine, for putting on the webinar, and thanks for everyone who attended. And like I said, if you do have any questions, feel free to email me. I will be sending out an email momentarily where you can find a link to the recorded version of this webinar, so you can have my email through that. All right. Well, have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
Mm-hmm.